Hello, EvoPod viewers and listeners. Today we are back at EvoPod. Uh, Before we start, thanks for listening and watching us, and it really makes us grow better. And yeah, please do share with your friends. Obviously, I'm your
Like
host
and
SK.
subscribe.
Yeah.
And I'm your other host, Ruben.
Okay. Today, what we're going to talk about is how to build muscle. One of my favorite topics. So I like muscle. I don't think so. Anyone hates muscle. I've never seen a person
Definitely
who
not.
hates muscle.
Yeah. Beach bodies and all that, they want it.
Yeah, everyone here want muscle. There's no one that will say they don't want muscle. The thing is about muscle is it's very a slow process. Let's say
Yes.
if you comparing losing fat with muscle building is very slow. It's like literally very slow. Even with steroids, it's slow. So imagine
Even
without,
with godlike genetics, it's slow.
yeah, it's very slow actually. Like people want to build muscle. The difference that you're going to look after the training, that you looking after the transformation is very. It takes up to 6 months sometimes. Even if you have the best genetics, maybe like 4 months, 5 months, 4 months you can look. You see, like if average person,
You
the
can you
thresh,
can look decent, but definitely you're not going to look like a model or anything. You look decent, that's for sure.
decent,
In
yeah,
five
few
to six
months,
months, you look decent
decent
with proper
because
muscle
yeah.
definition and stuff like that. But yeah,
Muscle is like you have to train it frequently because people don't understand sometimes the consistency, like to build muscle, right, requires a lot of consistency. Like you have to
yep,
keep pushing the limit to break the to create the micro tear in your muscle to build muscle. Okay.
yes.
And there is no like I've told a lot of times, even during our recent workout from home, does this kills or gains. In that episode, I told that our muscle don't know what you're doing. The only thing that muscle knows is how to contract, how to relax, to how to create a stimulus. The only job that you have is to create a stimulus where you reach failure or close to failure to build muscle.
Yes.
So I think that will answer the fact that, oh, can I, is 100 reps of push-ups equal to 100 reps bench press? No, is there's a difference there because you need to reach to level where like you need to go until 100, 200 reps to reach the failure. But in bench press, you just need a 12 rep with a load to reach close to failure.
Yeah.
And it's very exhausting to do 200, 300 of push-ups.
It is very exhausting. You because push-ups you contract a lot more muscle, and I mean, not to say contract a lot more muscle. You were telling me the other day the effort that you put when you're doing full body workouts like this, they actually exhaust you much quicker than when actually um, focusing on something. Like you gave me example squats versus leg extension.
Yes, because it's called, what we call is stimulus to fatigue ratio. We call it SFR, stimulus to fatigue ratio, which let me give an example. Bench press compared to Smith machine bench press. The fatigue that you accumulate using bench press is much more higher compared to Smith machine bench press because you have less fatigue that you will accumulate during the particular workout after the workout, which means like because bench press, the manual one is like more, it's a compound. This is compound, but you can isolate the chest more in Smith machine. You're
Yeah,
still
because when
going
you're
to,
doing a bench press,
yeah,
you actually have to control much more. It's free weight, so you're basically swaying around and all that. If you don't actually control, you don't contract the proper muscles to stabilize yourself. But in a Smith machine, it's lesser. The burden is lesser compared to when you're doing a free weight bench press.
Because you won't be activating that much of shoulder, your delts. You can literally, really, you can see the real isolation there. Sometimes people will ask, I feel like personally, I do feel like isolation gives a better stimulus compared to a compound movement. Like, let's say for chest, I like chest fly, cable flies compared to bench press.
Mhm.
But you cannot say this one is better than this one, because each workout provides the equal,
Its own
yeah, its own benefits to the muscle and to our strength. So, and then obviously when you ask me if can I do, I don't want to do bench press, I just want to do flies isolation to build muscle, can I do that? Yes, obviously you can. If it's not that you cannot, because last time when people used to tell, I don't do squat, I don't do deadlift last time, and then I still managed to build back, and then I still managed to build my quads. But the thing is, it's just that the compound strength is not as equivalent as when you do it the compound movement, obviously, but you still
Yeah.
build muscle. That's why hypertrophy is different and strength training is different.
It's
There's a
different.
reason for that, because you don't need to do all three big lifts in order for you to build muscle,
Mm-hmm.
because building muscle is all about creating the tension,
Stimulus, yeah.
yeah, stimulus, creating a tension, and then going up to close to failure. So yeah, basically I find it funny. Like last time, now a lot of people are, they changed the opinion actually. Like, we don't need to do
Mm.
deadlift. Last time, yeah, no, you have to do deadlift. You
Yeah, it's the
have to do
king of all
squat.
exercises.
Yeah, they say it's a king of all exercises. I wouldn't deny. Obviously, it's really a total body workout, but the
Yeah.
fatigue, but the fatigue level is very high.
I mean, you're basically done for after you do a couple of sets of deadlifts, especially heavy deadlifts where
Yeah,
you're pushing yourself. You're done really.
when, let's say if you're programming, like, I won't program squats to squat more than one time in a week. Like, I'll only do one time squat. And even that, I will push my squat to my last session. If let's say I'm doing push pull, sorry, upper lower, upper lower, upper lower.
Hmm.
So the last lower will be my compound movement, which will include squat. I won't do on the, let's say Monday, I'm starting with upper and then Tuesday lower, but I won't do my squat on my Tuesday. I will do my lower on my Saturday, because I don't want to accumulate the fatigue fast. So I rather put the squat on my last day, so that I can focus on other movement also during the week.
Hmm.
So this is what I do actually, because this is programming. Like, this is programming according to your goal and then your fatigue level. Because when you are a beginner, obviously you will have these fresh gains, like, oh, I miss the gains.
Yeah.
And it's not about the gains, but it's about the recovery, I would say, because the recovery will be like damn good. You can throw in a lot of workout, you still can recover very fast.
Yeah. True. So.
Yeah, as you age, as you age in as you age in lifting age
Mhm.
and aging in normally, so the recovery will be slower.
Damn it! I feel old now.
You're what, 25? Not 24.
25 lah.
25 still okay. I think when I was
I
25,
still have another like.
yeah, I think 2 more years you can still go on with it. Like, really heavy. Like, I think,
I'll probably have 13 more years before I actually start deteriorating quite clearly. 13 more years lah. 13 probably around 40 like that last start deteriorating. 38, 40. God damn it! I don't even want to think about it.
obviously when the age is increasing, the strength, it's very hard to keep up with the strength. But I've seen a lot of people breaking the barrier nowadays. Like, if you train smart, yeah, obviously you can, and
You're going to retain some muscle, but you're not going to retain all of it. Like, that's for sure. Because your hormones are going to start going haywire. It's going to
haywire.
drop. Your testosterone is going to drop. You're not going to be able to retain as much muscle. So, hence, you're not going to be able to push as much because that's definitely directly proportionate. The more muscle you have, the more you're able to push. But having deteriorating muscle and then not being able to push, it's there. You're going to get old someday and you're going to face all of this. But while you can, you're definitely going to want to push. You're going to want to accumulate as much muscle as you can. Uh, and
That's
how
that's the
you're
goal
going to do
actually.
that? Yeah,
Yeah,
how you're going to
that's
do that is
up to
just
you.
by increasing your stimulus. Of course, don't do it to the point where you're like gasping for breath and half dead ready because you're exhausted to hell and back. But do it a bit smart lah. Slow progression.
And end of the
Your
day,
body will tell you already.
it's about a goal.
Yeah.
Like what you really looking for, like why you really want to build muscle. Okay, you are someone who really want to look after your physical health, and then how it looks in the mirror when you see it, and then you want to get a beach body. When you take off your shirt, it looks nice, and when you wear shirt, it looks nice, it fits. So these kind of things is like, you can go for really slow and then take it easy, because you don't really need to rush, and you no need to put yourself in a situation where it can lead up to injury,
Yeah.
because athletes, one way or another, they get injured. One way or another, they reach the plateau of their strength. This is like a universal truth, and these things like, you really cannot avoid, but you can avoid if you train smart, obviously. Like, touch wood, for the past few years I don't have any injuries, touch wood. So I've been programming until the volume, I don't accumulate a lot of fatigue. So this is where this periodization, like, how to periodize your workout. When people, this is why people periodize this workout. There is no special thing about periodization. Let me tell you this, like, people are thinking if you periodize your workout, it's very fancy word, like, oh, I'm periodizing. Periodization my workout. I have RIR, RPE. It's no special, it's not a magic. Okay, the people, you have guys have to understand that it is not magic. Suddenly you prioritize your workout routine and then you build muscle. No, the only thing that prioritization is helps is because it helps in your fatigue, in your muscle fatigue. You don't accumulate that much of fatigue, so you are being smart about it. You can avoid being injury very fast, and then you can be more consistent when you do this. But obviously it depends on the people. It really, you cannot say, if you, let's say, a person who can works out 6 days per week, and then without, he can max out everything, but he's been lifting 5 years like that continuously. I wouldn't go and introduce him with periodization, because he's already good, he knows what he's doing, and then obviously his recovery rate is very high. But we don't know whether, like, let's say he's enhanced or he's not enhanced. So we really don't know anything about it. So if I won't be going and introduce him to periodization, because still he's good with it. So why, if let's say there's an intermediate lifter and then he find it hard to recover, and then he have a lot of injuries, and then he have, like, he couldn't really progress, so then I introduce periodization. Yes, this might help,
Yeah.
you see, there's a
Then
difference.
you actually take it slow and easy lah.
Yeah, it's very individual, like very personalized.
The best part is right when like you see a person who's actually not just to be healthy but to actually be a sports person, a person who's actually uh, fitting himself, I mean like working himself out to the point where y- you are just pushing yourself every single time you step into the gym or whichever uh, exercise choice that you have. You're pushing yourself to the very max, right? What do you actually think about that, bro?
Like, again, come again. Like, people are maxing out in the
Like,
gym, is it?
not to say maxing out, but Like say even yourself, right? You're an athlete. As an athlete, when you're going, you definitely have that a goal to actually reach, and you're working towards that and all that. You get into the gym and you start your workout, you actually push yourself very hard, very
Hmm.
close to failure at least. When
Hmm.
you're doing all that, right, do you always keep in mind periodization? Or in fact, I mean, since you're tracking,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
but
I can understand your.
otherwise,
Otherwise, I can understand where like, are you asking how I'm in control?
yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah. That's a very hard part actually. Uh, if you know about investing stocks, right? Periodization and investing in stocks is the same thing. You have to be in control. Like let's say there's okay, when you buy the stock, but the stock price is dropping, you don't want to sell it because it might go up at one point. So it's more towards the mental strength rather than the buying strength that you have. So more towards the mental psychological. So the same goes to periodization, where you know it's going to work, but you have to be in control somehow. That's quite hard part actually, because you know you can max out on that day. Let's say you are keeping yourself at 3 RIR. 3 IR. People
mhm.
think that keeping yourself 3 RI, 0 IR is easy, 3 RIR is very hard. Like you have to keep yourself in 3 reps in reserve.
Because no one knows the physical feel of
Yeah,
RIR.
because
They don't
RIR.
know.
Yeah, because when you're at 3 RIR, it's like, okay, I can max out. You have the urge to max out.
Yes,
Yeah, that's very hard to
yes.
control actually. Like the urge that you have to max out in the particular workout is very hard compared to you go to 0 RIR, because 0 RIR is like, okay, I'm going to max out, I'm going to have this best pump ever. So
That's
yeah,
literally me every time in the gym. I
yeah,
get in for any exercise, right? Okay, like even squats, lah. I get under the bar, I get into my zone, I lift off, I'll go for that first 8 reps, right? You'll feel like, okay, I'm in control. I'm going to stop when I reach 12.
yeah,
Like say if that's my goal for that day, lah. Once I reach 12, right, you'll be like, one more rep, go, one more rep, go. You'll never want to put the bar down, until like you're half dead ready. Then you're like, lock, drop.
yeah,
That's it.
bro. And sometimes we underestimate that the reps that we are doing actually. Sometimes we have a lot of reps in our tank. Like you
Yeah.
might be thinking that you are at 2 RIR, but it might be 4 RIR. But this requires a lot of time for you to prepare. It took me at least 1 year plus to find, like, okay, this is my true RIR. So it takes a lot of patience, and then you have to practice a lot on the RIR to find that. You know the girl that Stephen, like the one, the Instagram,
Steffi Cohen.
Steffi Cohen. Okay,
Yeah.
she posted she was doing this 1 rep, and then she did this deadlift. She was like, she was maxing out in that 1 rep. You know how it looks, it was like her last rep, she didn't post a full workout, and then after that, after few minutes, and then she posted a few full workout. She was doing 12 rep, as in the first rep was her last rep. Can you understand how much she maxed out there? So it looks like you are going to 0 RIR in the first rep itself. That means her mental and her physical strength is much more higher. She pushed a limit to that up to the. That means if she stopped, like people stop like at 2 RIR. So this is what the problem is comes. Some people like, I'm trying my best, I'm putting my best effort in the gym, but I cannot really build muscle. This is why, because sometimes you might underestimate your lifts.
Mm.
So this is what happens. Sometimes we underestimate our lifts. Sometimes when the day is good, like you have to. So sometimes I do this, like I have periodization. Like I have already planned. Like I'm going to be like in 3 rep in scissor, but that day I'm feeling okay. This is my day. Like I can push myself. You know what I'll do? I'll take the chances. I No, really. When this happens, you just take the chance. Let's say bench pressing. Like okay, I've never done like, for example, okay, let's say I'm 100 I'm putting myself 100 kg 12 reps and everything, and then okay, I'm going to do, I plan to do 10 reps, but oh, I feel like I can do 15 reps. I'll like fuck this shit, I'll go.
I've seen that. I've seen that. Because then you'll call it.
That time
Okay,
I'll
that's
go for it, and then for the next week I'll obviously like alter a bit of volume and then carry on with my, because it doesn't happen that frequent.
yeah, understand.
It doesn't happen. You don't always follow up. But sometimes it depends how I feel throughout the day. How was my day? How was my day before that? How get my sleep? So everything involves in muscle building, obviously, because it involves in your energy when you lift. And looking for the best rep range. No, there's no best rep range. Like people, yeah, obviously last time you'll see this 1 to 5 is power, 6 to 8 is strength, or these few reps is like okay for
10
hypertrophy.
to 12 is hypertrophy. No,
Be
yeah, 10 to 12 hypertrophy.
Yeah,
Then
because
anything above 15 is endurance.
endurance. Yeah, these it depends on the context, but to build muscle, you can go any rep range.
Yeah,
The
build
rule,
muscle any rep range.
yeah, the
But
rule
if you want to
is
be safe,
yeah,
I would say stick anywhere between 10 to 15 reps. Maybe
yeah,
okay,
8 to
to
15
12
lah.
reps lah.
Yeah, 8 to 12 or 8 to 15 also should be okay actually. I normally like I keep myself 8 to 15, so that's like my safe range of this one.
Yeah, because you're able to actually lift a comfortable weight. I mean, not to say
Mm,
comfortable, a challenging weight without much risk.
yeah,
But if you're lifting for 1 to 6 reps or 1 to 5 reps continuously, like every workout session, yeah, you're going to be pushing yourself very hard. You're going to feel all that pump and all that stuff. But there is more chances of injury because you're putting too much stress on your joints and
joints. Yeah, because the lower the reps, the higher the risk of you putting yourself pressure on joints. Like you said, that's very true. Actually. Because if you look at, yeah, it's heavy obviously. And
even 30-40 kilos is heavy. What the hell?
the fatigue, because the fatigue accumulation is very high and very prone to injury actually. So yeah, you don't do that often depending on
Yeah.
how you program your blocks. And this mesocycle, this blocks, this microcycle, this macrocycle and everything, if you are really yeah, I might do a podcast based on that, but if you're going to really follow this kind of periodization things to build your muscle, to improve your hypertrophy, what I would say is I would suggest to look at your program and then look at your progress first. Have you done everything else correct before you jumping into the next stage?
Yeah.
But like, have you tracked your
Build the
volume?
basic.
Yeah, build your basic. How's your basic form? Do you track your volume? How's your calorie tracking? Are you getting enough micronutrition? All these basic things is like, you want to add something in your routine, you have to master the basic first before you add anything else.
Yeah.
Once you're done with that, yeah, obviously, why not give a try?
Yes. And like, okay, just to round everything you said, right?
Yeah,
Muscle building, you can build muscle anyway, but
yeah,
the main, it all comes down to just one thing: adding stimulus that challenges your muscle.
true. You have to
Stimulus
challenge.
that challenges your muscle.
Yeah, obviously, like And whenever people say that no, I couldn't build muscle, or this particular muscle group is very weak for me, like let's say my arms is small or my calves is not growing, put in more volume to that particular muscle throughout the week, it will grow. Only thing that you have to find yourself doing is change the execution, how you set up the particular workout. So you have to be a little bit of creative, like change a little bit of angle so that you activate more muscle there, and then you add more
Yeah.
volume. So let's say you want to, like I think I said the last podcast itself as well, like in the Arnold podcast, like a specialized program that say, okay, your goal to these 12 weeks is to give more volume to legs. So what you can do is give more volume to legs and then reduce the volume that you're going to do for the upper body for that particular 12 weeks. Obviously, you're not going to lose muscle mass because you're just going to put in a maintenance volume so that you focus more volume on your lower body.
Bro, what do you think about these weird weird guys that actually like they actually come and tell you, bro, I'm lifting heavy lah, bro, but my muscle isn't growing, you know. But then when you see them work out, right, they literally be doing this for bicep, maybe.
Yeah, actually, they're using the momentum to create the stimulus, which is not working. They're moving all their body to lift the. You're not using the particular muscle to lift the particular load. Then how to build muscle?
I see that, I cry.
This is why there's no basic, because basic. The more you advance, like even I tell you this, like, the more you advance, the only way for you to advance is to master the basic. Yes,
Basics.
the
Yeah.
basic is the thing that going to let you to master, like advance in your training. But don't neglect your
Yeah.
basics lah, like form, and avoid expecting fast result, and then be very patient because muscle building is very slow. You have your thought in your mind, right? Like, okay, this much of muscle I'm going to uh okay build
Build.
during the, yeah, it's 5 or 10 times lower than that.
Lower than that. That is the
I
sad part, you know.
yeah,
Explaining this
yeah,
to people.
yeah, I know it's sad, but that's how human body works. Yeah.
For you and I, fine. But for people who have actually been doing this, okay, no problem. You can talk to them and they'll be like, yeah, that's true. But then for people who just come, right, and then you're explaining this to them, they'll be so disappointed. You can see it in their face and you'll be like, shit, maybe I should have just lied.
Yeah. And there's people say it like don't overtrain your muscle. This kind of things, like you have to do certain kind of sets like to build muscle. They put a threshold like 12 to 16 set per muscle group to build muscle. Let me
12
tell
to
you
16
something.
sets.
Yeah, like no, actually this is
Jesus
like,
Christ.
like you want to know how much set I do for, let's say, chest. I do, say, 3, 6,
Oh, you mean per
80
week,
per
bro?
week, per week, yeah, per week.
Sad. I thought per session.
Okay, you see, yeah, I do like 18 to 20 set per muscle group. Let's say chest. I cannot be going and doing 12 set next week because it is not enough to stimulate my muscle group since I have been doing 18 to 20 sets. So if I'm going to do 20 to 21 set or 22 set, it's not overtraining for me since because I have been doing 18, 20 per week for months or for
Yeah.
years. So it depends on the history of my lifting to
And
decide how many.
honestly, you wouldn't have gone up to 18 to 20 sets on day one itself. You would have at least
Yes.
built from somewhere.
Yeah, you have to.
Most people expect to actually be reaching that number of sets or that level of intensity
Yeah.
on their first day,
Mm.
which is not possible for anyone,
Yeah, and they
for
say
anyone at all.
they are afraid that they will overtrain their muscle. Let me tell you something. To reach that level of point, overtraining requires, I think, I'm not sure how many years you like. You cannot overtrain a muscle. Like,
Well, I mean, okay, you
yeah,
can
obviously,
overtrain the muscle, but
if
it's difficult to
difficult
overtrain the muscle because
muscle,
your muscle is built to function very very well, very very
well,
efficiently, very it's tahan lasa lah. It's extremely
lasa,
tahan lasa.
yeah,
But
and
to say
yeah,
that overtraining, yes,
don't think that you're going to overtrain. No, you're going not to. Like, people will ask, oh, how I'm going to train like 3 to 4 days per week in a particular muscle group, slot in the muscle group. Like I say,
mm,
we all have different kind of structure where we might some,
adherence to muscle building. Yeah.
yeah, and like, let's say you can build chest better. I have been lacking my chest, but I have better back, but you don't have better back. What you have to do is like
You have been lacking on chest, bro.
like I say, like, you have to put more volume there and then reduce your back volume.
Yeah.
So you have to know what is your plus and what is your minus so that you can adjust your volume, and then your body can recover well for the particular volume throughout the week. This is why being smart about training. This is why being you have to be smart in your training. It's not about just banging the weight. No, it's not. You have to be particular about where you distribute your volume. Where you distribute your volume determines your growth equally. So yeah, I think yeah, we spoke a lot, and then
Oh,
maybe I
damn.
do what,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
How many minutes today? Sure.
Should be about 30 plus minutes lah.
I don't want to keep until 40 minutes. Yeah, I do listen. I have listened to 2 hour podcasts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
have.
I haven't gone to up to 2 hours lah. I probably listen to 1 hour lah.
Yeah, I can listen to up to that if it benefit me. Why not? But depends on our audience how much they prefer.
Hmm.
Obviously, don't ask to make podcast to 5 minutes to 10 minutes because it's very hard. Because podcast is meant to be long. That is why it's
Es-
called podcast.
Especially when we're giving this much information.
Yeah, a lot of
I mean,
information
if you want to shorten it, maybe the
can.
playback speed you can put it at 1.5 or 2 lah. Then you'll be going a bit faster. But I
Yeah.
don't know whether you'll actually understand what we say lah. That's the one thing lah. I suggest something already.
So that's all, guys. Wrapping up today's podcast. Oh, it's raining. It's raining.
It's raining here also.
Yeah.
Quite heavy.
So wrapping up for today's podcast, I think we gave a lot of infos like today for
Yes.
muscle building. I think you'll never get that for free. That's a lot of info.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just that's the main reason I started this podcast. I want to give as much as info as possible for you guys to start to do for your own stuff, or so that's the main reason. I want to give as much as value as possible. So please do like, subscribe to the podcast. I hope you guys will
And share.
enjoy. Yeah, and signing off, SK.
And Ruben.
Thank you.
Level.